Hey everybody, welcome back. I wasn't gonna record another Isaac episode today, and then I thought to myself, the items that you get in the item pool, I consider myself a logical individual, but they are somewhat, they seem to be influenced, M1T7 I should say, XHKV, they seem to be influenced to some extent by your system day, by the day of the week. If you get Brimstone, and you get Cricket's Head, and you get Monstro's Lung, and you get Rubber Cement, and you get the etceteras, and the so-ons and the so-forths, of course, we're gonna endeavor to try to, you know, fit in another Isaac episode today, just so we can hopefully get more of the same. We are playing as the Forgotten. I don't think I've been the Forgotten for quite some time. I understand the Forgotten. In case you've forgotten, by hitting left control, you can become a version of yourself that has the imbued power of flight. I do forget how it works. I think, I forget how it works in the sense of, I know there is, like, a deal with the devil cheese that you can do. You can, like, switch to the soul, which is the like, flying blue baby version. Okay, I'm not super excited about that one. You can switch to this version, die on the deal with the devil, like take the deal with the devil in order to die, even if it would kill you. And then if you switch back to the Bone Lord before the death animation is complete, you don't lose the run. So this can allow you to kind of, I guess I wouldn't describe it as a free deal with the devil, but this can just allow you to take deals with the devil you would perhaps otherwise be unable to take. See, that's an amazing item right there, man. That's an amazing item right there. By the way, the baby is still here. Hello, baby. Hello. Alright, she's just chilling. She is looking at me kind of dumbfounded. She's like, this guy's still talking, huh? I really assumed that, you know, this whole, like, you know, sitting in a desk chair, you know, playing video game stuff, I assumed it would be short-lived, but my god, he's been doing it like my whole life. Little does she know. Okay, she was a little concerned about the laughter there. I apologize, baby, I apologize. Anyway, yeah, today is still Sunday, still having a good day. Nice morning, you know, anytime you start your day with an Isaac run that's like 21 minutes long, that's a good day. Was kind of, we're having inclement weather by Vancouver standards as well. I don't mind being one of those guys who just like talks about the weather. You know, it's one of the great ironies, I think, of youth that, you know, I used to be like, you know, maybe when I was 15, I was like, oh, how sad is it that, like, when people grow up, they talk to other people about the weather. Meanwhile, like, what was... Oh, jeez Louise, man. What was I going around talking to people about at age 16? Nothing, because I had no self-confidence. Wouldn't have been the weather. It probably would have been like, you know, how do you feel about the Liv Schreiber film, The Manchurian Candidate? I thought it was pretty... Dude, who cares, man? The weather is relevant to people's day, you know? Why turn up your nose to stuff like that? Anyway, it's snowing. And it's been snowing for a couple of days here in Vancouver. Usually, we go through years, or like, you know, a year at a time, obviously. But we go through periods where it doesn't snow at all. Last year was a fairly snowy winter by Vancouver standards. It probably snowed, I don't know, maybe like, you know, 4 times. It's very mild here for the most part. But yeah, it was like, by Vancouver standards, it was almost like a blizzard yesterday. Which is to say, like... I was looking out my window to see if there were any cars that were going to spin out. Turns out we didn't need to spin that bomb, but that's okay. I'm happy to report I saw none. But I did see some cars that were like... It looked like they were like going out. And then they did like a 3-point turn. They're like, I've decided that because we didn't splurge for winter tires, maybe we'll just stay inside today. But I went for a little bit of a walk in the snow. You know, I had to pick up some stuff for Valentine's Day. And it was a nice little, it was nice kind of walking in a winter wonderland a little bit. I don't mind, like, look, I'm a big fan of not having a real winter, and I would say that Vancouver really doesn't have a real winter in the sense that it's like highly inconvenient to do anything. But I don't mind being out in the snow a little bit, like once a year. It's the beauty, like the first snow of the year is always like a little magical, right? People are always like excited about it. There you go. I think that's how you're supposed to do it right there. It's only when you get to like your 8th snow of the year and you got to wake up at 5 in the morning to scrape the ice off your, car windshield, and, you're just, miserable. That's where you're like, winter sucks. But the first time it snows, especially if it snows before Christmas, dirty sidewalks and holidays, and on every street corner you hear. I don't know why I would use that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We're doing great here. Nothing's gonna slow us down. Probably. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, but like when it only snows like once or twice a year, you get to kind of capture that first snowfall feeling constantly. We didn't take the baby out though. Like I went out by myself. I feel like if you take the, I don't even know. What do you do when you have like a stroller in the snow? I guess you just kind of like, pun intended, I suppose. You just kind of roll with it. I feel like I didn't put winter tires on the Upper Baby, so that's a very highly specific joke about stroller branding for anybody out there watching. Anyway, I don't really know what to buy as the keeper. I will not really buy Chaos. I think I've really come around to the idea that item is not so good. You know what? Always nice to get the compass for quality of life. Wouldn't you say, baby? I mean, was I wrong? It seems like we're in another, like, really easy one here today. Ma the Void is really helping us, rebuild something out of our, the shamble remains of... Look, forget that conversational topic. I just remembered what I wanted to talk about. Did you see the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League? Did you see that, unironically, the Joker says we live in a society in the trailer? Baby, you can't understand the nuances of this joke, but we live in a society was kind of, I would say, a meme that became a little bit more popular and unavoidable, really, in like 2018, 2019. And it was like something the Joker would say. It was like something you would say if you were the Joker. And to see the Joker say it in a movie, like, I don't know if you remember, but like, when all these like Avengers movies that came out, people were like, or no, specifically for Infinity War, people were like, Marvel, you have to make it so Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr. say something like no S Sherlock to each other because they both played Sherlock. Wouldn't that be amazing if you did that? And then Marvel didn't do it. Boo, hiss, etc., etc. That's really, I feel like, what this trailer did. Is they actually were like, have the Joker say we live in a society. It was wild. Anyway, I forgot what I was really talking about, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm not like anti-DC, I have seen a couple of the movies in the DC cinematic universe. Thought the original Wonder Woman was pretty good. Haven't seen Wonder Woman 84 and probably won't because of the fact that it was like kind of universally lampooned, I suppose. I thought Aquaman was, I saw about half of that one and I was like, this is reasonably entertaining. I'm not sure if I would watch the whole thing, but doesn't strike me as having a bad time, It doesn't seem like I'm enjoying myself, I suppose. But really, like, I mean, like, you had the Joker say we live in a society. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Oh, I got an important message. I'm gonna pause just briefly. See you in just a moment here. Alright, I am back, and it turns out it was not really that important of a message. But hey, I got to it right away. It's always nice to not be procrastinating on that stuff, because you're like, what if it was an important message? The joke is like, what if you farted? Think we covered what would happen if I farted, Jane. You'd throw up your pretty little launch. I'm over curses, okay? Not like, you know, swearing. You know, sometimes there's relevance there and sometimes there's not. I do always laugh that there are people who have an idea of comedy that, like, you know, like you're a more skilled comedian if you don't have to swear to get laughs. I'm sure there are some people out there that probably are like, that's the right opinion. I don't know, like, look, I'm not trying to make you feel bad necessarily. I'm just trying to get you to agree with me, and if that causes you to feel bad, maybe we should both re-examine our relationship with criticism here. But what does it say about your sense of humor that you feel like somebody saying the F word is like just a button you can press to create laughter? Like, that's like 8th grade sense of humor. When, like, did you ever have to do that thing in like elementary or middle school where, like, you would say, like, a word in health class? You would say, like, you know, genitals, and if you laughed, the teacher would make you, like, repeat it again in front of the class? I know it sounds like I'm making this up. This is a real thing. I don't know if they do it anymore. But, and by the way, I understand why they did it, because, like, when you're a little kid, you know, and you're in health class, you're very immature. Testicles. I will not take this item. I have standards, thank you. You know, so you gotta get over that before you can even start to discuss the, you know, the relevance of the material. Please, may I? But, like, that's really what you feel like that comedy is like if somebody says a dirty word, then they're cheating. Now, I want to say, you know, people always use that to favor this comedian named Brian Regan. Brian Regan is not my favorite stand-up comedian, but I've seen a couple of his specials. I actually feel like he's very talented. It's not like we're not kindred spirits. Like, there are other comedians I watch, and I'm like, you know, I think like this person. but I remember being skeptical, because, like, Brian Regan's whole thing, whenever anybody recommends him, the whole thing is like, he doesn't have to swear to be funny. When I watched his stuff, I was like, you're absolutely right. He does not have to swear to be funny. But so this is not a knock on Brian Regan. It's more like, I'm always stunned by people who just, I guess they assume that, you know, it's just easy to be funny if you just say the F word all the time. I mean, I think it's like, maybe it depends on your age, like, certainly. I don't mean to, again, everybody's got different tastes in this kind of stuff, but there's no way to talk about this stuff without going through examples. Like, I don't really find Lewis Black that funny, but when I was 16, I was like, this guy's like the funniest guy on the planet, right? He's just so mad all the time. What's up with that? That's crazy. I love it. And that kind of like the same thing, to some extent, with this comedian called David Cross, who, I mean, you're probably familiar with him. He's quite famous, but mostly for the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies now. But, which, by the way, I, you know, don't begrudge at all. Are you telling you, look, somebody offers you, like, maybe, like, $2 or $3 million to be in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, you're gonna be like, no. All you gotta do is show up and be like, I'm gonna get those chipmunks. And they're like, that's a wrap on Mr. Cross. Okay, can we get him his big check? I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't consider that selling out at all. It's selling out to be in a children's movie. Entertainment for little kids. I always, like, I was a big fan of David Cross's humor, like, you know, in the mid-2000s, let's say. Nowadays, I find him maybe, like, a more angry than funny. Although I still love he was on this television show called Mr. Show, which was a sketch comedy show back in the early 1990s that had also Bob Odenkirk, also known as Saul Goodman, on the show. I mean, they were like the minds behind it, right? And that were also the stars. Mr. Show is awesome, and then they did a reboot in like 2014, maybe 2015. You might expect it to be garbage. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, much like the average sketch comedy show. Not every show or not every sketch really hit, but in general, I thought it was very good. But even, like, as David Cross kind of got angrier over the years, I always, you know, I stood by him in the sense that I always thought it was weird when people got on his case for being in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. I mean, it would be another thing if he, because he kind of made like a bit of a career in the 2000s about being critical of the Bush administration. Sure, it would have been like, I would consider it selling out if he was like headlining the Republican National Convention after that. That would have been a little strange for sure. But to play the villain in a kid's movie, like, get a life. Like, who cares? This is a movie for little kids. It's not a movie for you. Probably. I don't know. I mean, you might be like, I was not a little kid when that movie came out. Okay, that's... Or I was a little kid when that movie came out. I wasn't, personally. I was, I don't know. I was probably already like 19, 20 years old by the time that came out. Maybe I was a little younger. But still, definitely too old to be like... Say, you want to go see the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie? You know, that would have gotten... I would have gotten laughed out of my high school. Until 8:30 a.m. the next day when classes resumed. But... Anyway. I think, like, the older I get, I wouldn't say swearing is unfunny. But to some extent, like, egregious swearing for swearing's sake, I actually feel like it creates kind of like an effect where you need to be... The barrier to entry for humor needs to be even funnier. If, like, you know, if you're swearing like Deb in Dexter, where it really feels like you're just doing it to be like, check it out, I'm a... Like, I don't take crap from anybody, then I'm like, hey, you really gotta, cause you know. Holy frickin' frick, Dex, I was at the frickin' grocery store and frickin' holy ass Lundy was there. You know, like, I would be like, your joke better be on point. Otherwise, we're gonna, you know, I'm probably gonna be like, this isn't that good. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me out. We, would prefer... to not lose a bone heart. So let's grab some demon hearts. I always prefer to be the bone lord whenever possible. I do think there's, I mean, like, our damage is pretty great regardless, but I do think there's something to be said about maybe like becoming the soul, and then just using that extra mobility and defense that we get from having this, like, you know, statue in front of us whenever we're the soul, to make sure we can use Maw of the Void effectively, and then just use Maw... look, I'm not too worried about Bumbo there. Then we can just use Maw of the Void to generate, you know, kind of infinite HP for us. Anyway, what am I up to? Not too much. Excited for another week of content. It's February, you know, it's pretty... It's a low-key month, all things considered. January and February, you know, they're kind of like a wash. Not my favorite months of the year. Really, like, I'm counting down the days until I can get this dang vaccine, man. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm just like, September's a long way away. Hoping maybe, I don't know, that they are just like, well, actually, if you just eat some oranges, it has the same effect, you know? I'm hoping for some kind of pharmaceutical miracle like that, but it doesn't seem like it's likely to come to pass, so we're just kind of, I wouldn't say killing time, because, you know, we're doing a lot of important stuff. Oh, bless you, baby. You know, I feel like we've had good streams and, you know, good videos lately, and, you know, that we've really adjusted to this kind of, like, new normal. But there are, like, some days, for sure, where I'm like, man, you know what I could really go for? Is, like, sitting down in a restaurant and eating dinner. But it's a very, don't get me wrong, I agree. I think we're just gonna, look, that's not meant to be anti-Athame there. I just, I think that we don't need it to get maximum Spirit Heart coverage consistently. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Oh, she's smiling. She's like, he noticed. He noticed me. You've been so polite, baby. You're not even sleeping. You're just like watching. Yeah. Oh, ooh. I wouldn't say like it's not having like a profound impact. Oh, my bone heart, dude. I stepped on some creep, I guess. I wouldn't say it's having like a profound impact on my mental health, but like I'm just like it's less like I miss restaurant. I mean, I'm being 100% sincere when I say this, and I recognize like how lucky I am for this to be the case. Don't get me wrong. But like the main thing that is annoying the crap out of me is that no matter what precautions I take with this mask, it always fogs up my dang glasses. And I've gotta, so many people made some suggestions. They said like, hey, you know, get the anti-fog spray, and we got some anti-fog spray. It works for a bit. It mitigates the problem. I would definitely agree. And some other people have been like, you know, get one of those masks that has like a metal clip at the top of it, and then you can clip it on your nose, and then it'll solve the problem. Didn't solve the problem for me. It definitely did make it less bad. But like, you know, you can like be mad about this statement if you want. Like, there's gonna be like on a logical level as well. You know, I'll be very glad when there's like so much vaccination that it seems like hopefully, you know, 2020 and the start of 2021 was like a weird dream that we all shared with one another. But like one of the things that's gonna be best for me is like, you know, thank God I don't have to wear the mask at all times anymore and not be able to like see where I'm going or, you know, blah blah blah. Now I will say, I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, I don't know what my mask behavior will be like, you know, post COVID, or, you know, post the like prevalence of proliferation of COVID or whatever. But definitely like it seems insane to me now looking back that you would be like riding, you know, the bus or the SkyTrain or something, and someone would be like openly sick or whatever, and just like, you know, sneezing into either their hands or even just like the ether. Doesn't that strike you as one of those things that maybe it's going to take a while for us to get back to the standard on, like, or for that to feel normal? Like, you're telling me, like, for my entire life until 2020, when people were sick, oftentimes they would still just go to work for one, which you should obviously not be doing. And again, I understand, like, you know, it's not always their choice, you know, because of labor conditions and stuff like that. You know, your boss might be like, sorry, but you were already sick once last week. You can't be sick again. But like, people would be sick. Nobody would be wearing a mask. And they would just be like breathing and coughing and sneezing into the open air, man. No wonder people were getting like sick all the time. There's madness. That while people were ill, they would just be like people would simultaneously like believe in germ theory. They'd be like, germs cause sickness, but I gotta take public transit to get to work anyway, and you know, it's not really the culture here to wear a mask, so I'll just, you know, it's wild, man. Even like I guess like you know, I'll be even like a little bit more brazen about it. Like when I lived in Korea, all the foreign teachers, which is the non-Korean teachers, including myself, not only obviously did we like not wear like a mask, but on top of that, we thought it was weird that like the kids, when they felt a little sick, would wear a mask. What's up with the masks? I don't understand. Why are they wearing? Oh, I guess when they get sick, they wear a mask. Oh, weird. It's not weird. It turns we should have been doing it the whole time. At least, I'm not saying you should like right now. Obviously, you should mask up. But like in the fact that we didn't make it like the norm to mask up when you were feeling ill but had to go out or felt like you had to go out is crazy, man. You know, if there's something like enduring positive that maybe could come out of this. Maybe the idea that, like, well, like I think it would be, let's not call it a win. I think we did just lose our bone heart, by the way, so let's be careful there. But, you know, I think that if we could at least come out of this, you know, with a couple of different culture changes. One is, if you're sick, you know, and you're like sneezing and coughing everywhere, put a mask on. Everybody's got them now. And then the secondary thing is, you know, hopefully like a renewed kind of understanding of, like, you know, occupationally, organizations making it so that if you're sick, you can just stay home. Or making it easier to stay home. Hey, baby. Anyway, just my 2 cents on that. I was reading something, though, and it was talking about how, like, you know, COVID has kind of, like, accelerated some trends that maybe, like, were already existing. And it was interesting to read. Like, obviously, you know, work from home is becoming more of a trend and will probably continue to become a trend. Some things you gotta be in the office for, and I also fully acknowledge that some people would just rather be in the office, you know? And I can actually, as somebody who's worked from home for a long time, I can understand why you would want to be in an office. Although I might not have been able to understand before, I can definitely understand, like, if you have a job that requires you to, like, you know, take meetings especially, and you have young kids that are not in school because of the fact that, you know, schools are, I think we got very lucky to not be killed there, to be honest with you. And because schools are out, then, like, I'm sure that being in the office, it's not like you don't want to spend time with your family, but you're like, I also, like, have to get this work done, and you know, constantly being on, like, teacher and daycare, and then also occupational duty is very frustrating. But not for me so much, because, you know, my wife and I, basically, we alternate schedules, right? Like, you know, when I'm streaming, she'll look after the baby. When she's streaming, I'll look after the baby. So this run is a little dangerous now. It shouldn't have to be, but it is a little, which is funny. Hopefully we can get some extra demon hearts here. We should be able to. I don't know. Should I be upset I didn't take a theme, or should I be glad I didn't take a theme? If we had taken a theme... Oh, I knew it was coming too. That's the worst part. If we had taken a theme, we either might have more demon hearts or we might be dead by now. I'm not sure. Okay, well, that's, like, super dangerous. But I still think we can get ourselves out of this. If we get hit, but then we hit control fast enough, I think we should be fine. What the heck am I doing? What is happening here? Oh, there we go. Okay, that's nice. But yeah, like, and one of the, so people were saying, and who knows whether this will come to pass, but it's like trends that are being observed in industry right now, you know, is the idea that work from home will become more common. If work from home becomes more common, then, you know, many people will choose, instead of living, you know, in cities where, you know, historically employment has been good, but there's also been a high cost of living, you know, incredible cost of real estate and stuff like that. People may actually move out to, you know, more rural areas and also the suburbs, and you know, those areas could experience, because, like, I'm not anti-suburb. I grew up in the suburbs, at least for, like, a decent chunk of my teenage years. I always thought they were fine, but they kind of have a negative connotation, right? Like, in North America, is like, oh, the suburbs, there's nothing good, there's no parks, it's just concrete, it's a, you know, it's a cultural wasteland out there, there's nothing to do except, you know, watch TV. The idea that suburbs could kind of get, like, a revitalization is neat. And then also, and who knows, these are a little bit more, like, bold and further out, but the idea that, like, you know, if you're working from home, there won't be as much of a focus on just, like, punching the clock. It'll be more focused on, you know, your actual output instead. And then there will be less of a focus maybe on, like, you know, 9 to 5, and maybe, like, hey, if you want to get your hours, like, if you want to work 9 to 1 and then take a 4-hour break to, you know, basically homeschool your kid, and then you want to work from, you know, 5 to 9, as long as you get your stuff done, then that would be cool. And it's very vindicating for me, because I've been advocating for that stuff since I was, like, 18 years old, because I've always felt like kind of a square peg in a round hole. You know, I was like, especially, like, at some of my summer jobs, I was like, I have to be at work for 8 hours. I finished all the work that they asked me to do at, you know, 10:15 a.m. So then you just, you know, you kind of spend the rest of the day trying to keep up appearances. I'm not saying that's how everybody's job works, but I think there's a lot of people out there for whom they're like, I can relate to some of that. But anyway, easy run, baby. Except for the end, but thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And of course, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion. I'm live 11 to 4 every single day but Saturday. I'll see you there. See you.